Good morning. I wanted to talk about my opinion of some of the weather apps in the Gulf Stream crossing in Fort Lauderdale and Starlink. Now, the Gulf Stream is like standing in the road. If you stand in the road long enough, you're going to get hit by a car. There's no reason to make bad decisions. We have so much information out there, and I've only crossed it twice, so everybody's got an opinion, and you take it for what it's worth. When I crossed to go to the west end, Chris Parker said this would be the least worst crossing, and I was in West Palm Beach for a month waiting for this crossing. But the crossing wasn't what Chris Parker said. The wind didn't come from the south, it came from the east. The waves weren't coming from just the north, they're coming from the east. It was very confused, maybe 3 to 5 feet coming from different directions, but it was doable. It wasn't that bad. And coming back, they said the wind would be blowing at a nice breeze, but it wasn't. It was blowing at 8 knots, and so I motor sailed, but the waves weren't bad. We shouldn't be fearful of the Gulf Stream. Just plan for what we do. It's not a problem. The weather apps are doing the best they can. I have a subscription to both Predict Wind and Chris Parker, and I would do it again. Information is key to making good decisions. Fort Lauderdale, I would stay away from Fort Lauderdale. That place is just crazy. It's beautiful, but the boaters there are just crazy. Nobody cares, and maybe that's just the American way. I don't know. And Starlink, I bought Starlink over maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, because Cynthia loves to talk to her mom and her son every day, and I was afraid we would go to the Bahamas and wouldn't be able to do that. I had prior switched from Verizon to T-Mobile because T-Mobile was supposed to work over there, but I was afraid that I would be trapped and I wouldn't be able to do what Cynthia needed to do. So I got Starlink. And in the States, it was wonderful. It was $150 a month and worked wherever I went. And ever the do-gooder, I didn't want to break any rules. So when I was still in St. Augustine, I upped it to $250 a month. So I went from the mobile regional to the mobile priority. But what I've seen is if you're close to shore, mobile regional is enough, $150. And the mobile priority is $250. But the kicker to this is the first 50 gigabytes of information is priority. But if you've gone over that and you're doing a crossing, well, then you have to buy information, the gigabytes. I think it's $2 a gigabyte, and it adds up very fast. So I did. I bought additional gigabytes whenever I crossed, but I didn't think that was particularly fair. And if I had to do again, I would just stay with the mobile regional, which is $150 a month, and you'd have a blackout when you cross. Because when I crossed from West Palm Beach to West End, I had a blackout. When I crossed from the Abacos to Eleuthera, I had a blackout. When I crossed from Eleuthera to the Exumas, I had a blackout. And by then I figured it out. So I just started buying information, buying the more gigabytes at $2 a minute. It did add up. So when I crossed back over from Eleuthera to Nassau, I just started buying information. And when I crossed from Nassau to Bimini, I bought information. And when I crossed from Bimini back to Fort Lauderdale, well, I just bought more gigabytes. But if I had it to do again, I would just stay with the mobile regional and save the $100 a month, because I spent $900 extra that I really didn't need to spend. But now I'm waiting for Cynthia. She got her finally got her birth certificate. They found it, which was a crisis. But it makes me sad because it's taken 18 months, and I think right now I've spent about $6,000 on it, and I'm going to spend a lot more. And it makes me sad because there's so many good people around the world who may not be able to afford all these things, and so it eliminates them from coming to the United States. But when they come, our country's made better for it. And I've thoroughly enjoyed being in West Palm Beach because it is so multi-ethnical. One day I had some people from South America drive me an Uber, and then I had somebody from Jamaica, and I had someone from Haiti. I had 3 from Cuba, 2 that couldn't speak English, and we used Google Translate. But they were delighted to be in America. They loved this country, and they were productive. It just rocked my world. When I went to the dentist, the lady there was first generation from Central America, and she loved it. West Palm Beach is beautiful. The people are very kind. The American boaters aren't. When they had their Sunfest, they closed down the public boat ramps, so I couldn't land. I couldn't use the marinas because they wouldn't allow dinghies to land there. There was 2 outdoor nightclubs, one on the water and one on the dock on the water. And they started about 9 in the morning and went till 11 at night. So I got to feel, not listen to, I got to feel the music from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I couldn't even go see what was going on. And every night they had an outdoor concert, so that added to it. So I had 3 different sources of music, all speakers pointing to me. It was pretty tough. And during the Sunfest, people in powerboats would park way too close to me. One was very polite and he asked me what I thought. And I said, well, nothing's going to happen fast. We'll just wait. Another parked way too close to me. And then now the tide swung. And I said, and he was getting ready to go to the Sunfest. I said, sir, you need to move your boat and let some chain out because I'm going to hit your boat. And he told me that he had been there for a long time. And I reminded him, no, you've been here for 4 hours. And you anchored your boat on an outgoing tide. And now it's an incoming tide. And we're going to hit. So he got his dinghy and left. So when the police, and I feel really bad for policemen because their hands are tied with all these rules. When the policemen came, they were very apologetic. They're like, Franklin, if you care about your boat, you probably should move your boat. So I moved my boat, my 46,000 pound, my 30,000 pound, 46-foot boat. I had to move because this guy, and I had to be careful then because now there was 3 other boats, and as I moved, I had to be careful of them. But West Palm as a whole, I would say everybody needs a visit. It's just too beautiful. It's very expensive, but it's just so beautiful. But overall, I'm now waiting for Cynthia. She'll be here at the end of the month. She went, you had to use the doctor of the government's direction. So instead of a $30 doctor visit, it was a $370 doctor visit. And that it was, overall, it was a 20-hour ride, bus ride there and back. And now she's got to go down to another big town, which is 16 hours to get there and 16 hours to get back. And they made the appointment on Friday, but they're not going to look at it until Monday. So she's got to stay the weekend over there and then go back Monday. And then she has to come back in a week and pick up the documentation. It's for her, and the information they asked for was unbelievable. It was so much work for her, so much work for me, and expensive. But toward the end of the month, Cynthia will be here, and America will be made better for it. And all these people coming from other countries are why our country is such an extraordinary country. When I go to Ecuador, I eat Ecuadorian food. It's the same wherever you go. Rice, plantains, white potatoes. Everywhere you go, every meal you go. There are no salads, no vegetables. In America, there's so many options, and it's because of people coming to our country. But anyway, all these are just my opinions, and so take them for what they're worth. But I hope this is helpful. The Gulf Stream is not scary. Starlink is a good idea, but I'm not sure about the mobile priority. The weather apps definitely get, because more information is better. I'm a newbie. I have very little experience, but I'm an optimist and I'm a planner. And so far, I think I've sailed about 5,000 miles single-handed on my 46-foot sailboat, and it's all gone well because of planning, not of ability. So if you're interested in getting a sailboat, get a sailboat. There's nothing like sailing. You're part of the wind, you're part of nature, you're part of the waves. It is the most unbelievable feeling. But anyway, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have fun.